Okay, we'll get started now, and if some people come on a little bit late, that's alright. We'll have this all recorded and posted to the YouTube page, VacationCRM YouTube page. Is everyone able to see my screen? Okay, so as everyone knows, I think we had a new release on Sunday. Had some really exciting things in this release. There will be more to come, and it's just going to get better from now on. First thing is we added Apple integration, so much like TI and PGT, Carnival, you can now integrate your Apple bookings directly into VacationCRM. So real quickly, for anyone that doesn't know how to do that, you will create a trip first. You can name it whatever you'd like, and then you add a reservation. You select what type, Apple as the supplier, and a valid booking number. As soon as you do that, you would just click the update reservation from supplier, and it will automatically pull in all the reservation details, so flights, hotel, transportation, dates, pricing, all of that. Huge time saver, so that's a great feature for anyone that does a lot of bookings with Apple. The next big one is we have developed a way to pull out information from an HTML confirmation email from any VAX booking, and we will also be working on Disney for the future. It's just not quite there yet, so I will show you how to do that now. And we'll just use a FunJet booking. So you make your booking like you normally would on FunJet, and you will get a confirmation email similar to this. You will create a trip in VacationCRM. Again, select package or whatever it is. FunJet is the supplier. As soon as you select that, you'll see that you'll get these two icons here. And you need to put the booking number in first. You put that in. Once you get that in, click Save. Then you want to click the email icon here, and that will pull up an email to a specific email address will be youragency@vacationcrm.com. The subject should only be the booking number, and then you will need to copy and paste this HTML confirmation into your email ready to be sent. Paste it in there, and keep the formatting. Make sure this is not a plain text email or it will not work. And it's as simple as that, and you click send. Once you send, you can go back to your VacationCRM account, click the refresh icon, and it will search for that email coming in with that booking number. And it pulls it in. So you get your air, the dates, the times, your hotel. Now as this system, as we work through bugs and we get tips from users and suggestions, we will enhance it. It will learn to pull in more information from the emails. So this is the first release, and every email is a little bit different as far as what's in the confirmation email. So we are slowly working through that. Ideally, it will pull in everything you need eventually, but right now this is what you get. Still a huge time saver. You can just edit a few things here and there, and you've got your invoice ready to go. So you can save it once it pulls it in, and that's that. Another big thing we added is anything that is a Hard Rock booking, you can pre-register it with the click of a button. So if it sees Hard Rock in the hotel chain, you can click register with hotel chain. Everything will be filled out for you. Just make sure you put in your email address that you have registered with your Hard Rock account and click register. Once you do that, you'll get a little date here with green lettering that will say that this has been registered. So you don't have to worry about logging in and doing it separate. So you can do that now with Hard Rock and Charisma. Again, we will be adding more in the future. Those are just the first two we got done. One of the other big things we did was more along the lines for a host agency. Won't go into that too much. That would be a separate webinar for hosts, but it gives hosts a way to, check in on their agencies, see how they're doing, see how they're performing. They can see reports and, different things like that. So mainly for hosts. And then we did a lot of small things that were requests mainly on Facebook from users. So we do listen to the requests. So keep them coming so we can continue to enhance the system. One of the big ones that was requested by a lot of agencies was they wanted the API reminders to come in and look different. So we changed the color here. So from the forms, the payment form or the reservation form, you'll see that these come in as orange instead of red, so they will stand out so you know when you've got one reservation form in or payment form. For anniversaries, we have the original wedding date now in addition to the actual anniversary date, so you can know if it's a 20th anniversary, 10th anniversary, whatever it is, you can see that right here. For birthdays, we added their last trip. This has been here for a while, but if they were an additional attendee on the trip, it didn't show up here. Now, if they were an attendee at all, it show up that they were on that trip from this section right here. We changed there's an option, it's for users, it's at a user level. If you're dealing with international phone numbers, you can get rid of the formatting. Right now, it has a spot for area code and you normally type it in. This one's disabled. But when you get into stuff like this, we have international numbers, so you can disable that per user. It's great if you do a lot of international phone numbers in there. Admins are able to select to view all agents by default in the dashboard, so you don't have to come up here and click this every day. You can select it to come up as a default. So you can see all of your agents, information here, what they're doing, reminders, stuff like that. A lot of other custom settings on the user stuff. For people that do a lot of groups, you can set the threshold on how long groups will stay in the drop-down menu. By default, they will be on there for 70 days. So if you do a lot of groups, that list gets pretty lengthy. You can set that to 30 days if you want to make the list a little shorter. Most people don't need to access that after the group has traveled, so that's a customizable thing now. You can also adjust it to an agent can only see their own groups in that drop down, so that helps clean it up quite a bit too. Other thing we did too was we adjusted the forms a little bit. The anniversary date and the passport expiration fields will now get updated into VacationCRM. And we also took out the number or the phone number on the payment form because it wasn't going to anything in the profiles anyway. So it was just an extra step that wasn't getting used. But those are the main enhancements that we've done on this. Is there any questions anybody has about any of them? You mean for the reservation and the payment forms? I don't know that those will ever be customizable because those were designed to give a free form to everyone. Any agency is still welcome to have their own custom built if you want something very specific in there. We've always had that capability. These forms are just something to give users who do not want to, pay the money to get them developed. However, if there's a suggestion that you have that's something that makes sense as a whole for that form, you can always suggest it, and it may be something we change on a future enhancement. I would have to talk to Lalix about that and see if that's something they can do. I don't believe that's something that you could just check in your system. I think they would have to actually build a separate form for that, and then you'd run into multiple different form templates that people would have to choose. But I don't do the development on that, so I'll have to check with them on that. Sure. Okay, and I'll just add a complete new trip. We'll start with that. So first, you would name it and create the actual trip first. And that's just the same as you would with any reservation, no matter who your supplier is. And then add new reservation. Select what type it is. And then select FunJet. And like I said, as soon as you select FunJet, you'll see that this will open up. And then you just go to your confirmation email that you got from them. And copy the booking number. And once you get this far, you have to save it. Otherwise, you cannot do the refresh. And then just select the email icon. And all the email icon does is it opens up an email ready to send to the correct address with the booking number as a subject. You wouldn't have to necessarily hit that button, but it just saves you a couple steps to do it. And then you just copy and paste everything from that email. Into this one. Once you get it all in, click send. And at that point, you go back to your VacationCRM and click the refresh, and it will search for that coming in. And you'll get a message that says it was updated successfully. And you can scroll down to double check, make sure everything came in. So you got your dates correct. Make sure all that's right. If you do encounter something that's a little bit off with it, you can email to VCRM@VacationCRM.com. And you can send the original confirmation email to that email address so we can test it with that exact one. The more feedback we get, the quicker it's going to work itself out to where everything pulls in. So it's much appreciated when we know, if there's anything that we need to add. We know some of the stuff right now, like the pricing and things like that, but it'll get there eventually. No, but I can make one and send it out. Sure. No, I just use Outlook personally, but that's just what's called a mail to link. That's just a mail to link, and what that does is, what's that? What type of package or reservation type are you selecting? Tour? Okay, try package. Can somebody mute that, whoever that is? With fax sounds? Okay, if you select package, you should have it. Depending on what you select here, it will give you different options on here. If you wanted to change that, you can go into your map reservation to supplier and then select, tour, and then you can put in whatever you want. Like this one, you can see. It just depends. Be careful with that because you don't want to do some under tour and some under package, because then when you look at your reports, You're not going to know exactly what each one was. But no, I don't. I don't know if Mitch is on the call. He would be the one that would know more about that. If he's not, I can ask him and get back to you. If you want to know specifics on that, send me an email so I can get back to you. And my email is Stephen, Stephen, at VacationCRM.com. Okay, so in that case, what do you use for your mail? Okay, so that's typically a computer setting. So your computer, when you click this, your default program to open is Outlook, which you can change. Email me and I can walk you through it. It's a little bit much to do during this, but I can definitely help you out with that. Stephen, Stephen, at VacationCRM.com. Right. Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, it's right next to the supplier if you look at my screen here. Any VAX booking right now, so Southwest Vacations. But again, they all send different types of confirmation emails. So initially, we're going to have to work on each individual one as far as the system pulling out the information accurately. So, if you do use something other than FunJet or one of the more obscure ones, definitely let us know what kind of results you get. And if you want to send the actual confirmation email to us, we can test it and use yours as, a model to try to get all the information off of it into the system. It's a learning process, so it'll get better as we test it more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, travel impressions, you don't even need to do this. It's more advanced. You would click the update reservation from supplier button up here, and that will pull in everything accurately with no questions. That's been working for quite some time. So that's the best way to do it. But the VAX thing that we're doing here is kind of a workaround. A lot of these suppliers don't even have the technology and capability to do imports, so that's why we've kind of gone around and done this, pull it out of an HTML confirmation email. Yeah, if you have a travel impressions booking number, you just type it in, select supplier travel impressions, and then click this. And you can do that with travel impressions, exclusive group travel, Carnival, or Apple as of today. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, email me and I will email travel impressions, because with them it's a manual process for them to turn it on through your account, so they might not have done that. So just email me with your company information, and I'll shoot an email over to them. The only thing that requires an actual password in their profile is for Apple. I'll show you here. If you go to Manage Users and just select one of them, yourself, you'll see all these information, all these sections. So travel impressions, Carnival, EGT. These will be filled out for you if you filled this stuff out on the registration form. But if you joined 6 months ago, before we added Carnival or Apple, you're going to have to go in here and add this information in. Now this one, email me and let me know if you use Carnival and you don't have integration yet. That's another one I have to email Apple. They will turn it on and they will give me the number that you need to put in here. And I'll email that to you and then you'll just enter it. Once you do this, you'll save and then log out and log back in, and you should have the integration. So if anyone's having any problems, email me which supplier you're trying to use, your login, and I'll get everything updated for you. It's still individual. It's just a matter of the way TI does it, because it's all one booking number. So, I mean, you can import them, but it imports everything under that group booking. So, the best way to handle those is to just build one and then use the store reservation copy, which will copy everything here, and then you can paste it into a click on the new client's profile, the second client. Hopefully a lot of the information is the same, like maybe same flight. Yeah, and I don't even honestly know how it could, because it goes by booking number. So our system pulls that booking information from your TI account down to your VacationCRM account. So unless TI started using separate booking numbers within groups, I don't know of a good way to get around that. No, you'll have a separate booking number with EGT for groups, so you can import EGT groups just like normal. I don't have this account. This account is just a demo account, so it's not set up with any IATA with EGT. So unfortunately, I can't. Um, well, I mean, okay, so are they paying, are they just splitting a payment? Like the total payment, splitting it? I would probably pull it in under one of them and adjust the price, to half of the price, and then go to another account, the other client's account or profile, and create a trip and a reservation and copy all the stuff over so you have half and half. And that way you can keep track of payments because chances are, they're not going to pay it all up front and they're going to make payments and they're going to be different dates. So, split it in half and have two different invoices. So that way when they make a payment, you can go in on that client's profile, update their invoice, so you're always organized on who owes what and who's paid what. Yep. It's in the reservation. So you add a trip first. So if you just watch my screen, I'll do a totally new one. So you add a new trip, name it whatever you want, and you can submit payments to PGT also. So I always put it in before I even deposit, and just get the basic trip information like that there. And then after you click add new reservation, this is the step where you're gonna import it. So you select the type, PGT, and just put in the booking number. And as soon as you do that, you can click this button and it'll pull it in. Well, yeah, if they don't have a profile yet, you have to create a profile first. No, you can't import the profile, but you can import the reservation details. But if you're using, right, but if you want to save yourself more time, you can use the reservation form on your website, as long as you have the pro version, which it's going to look like this. So you can make it yourwebsite.com/reservation, and it will send them to a page that looks like this. And you'll select your name from the drop down. You'll put in all their contact information, trip information, payment information. Yeah, I'm just talking about for future, but for this, I wouldn't even go on here and do this if you're already past that. I would just create the profile because you're gonna have to type in everything no matter what. But for future, I mean, I never type in a client's profile. I never make profiles because I use this form every time. When they're ready to book, I send them a link to my agency's website, the reservation form, and say, fill out this form and I'll get you booked. And it's as simple as that. It also has a way to check for duplicates. So if they're an existing client, it will check and try to avoid creating multiple profiles for the same client. It does play it safe, so there is occasional times where it will create a duplicate, but 9 times out of 10 it will catch it and not create a duplicate. Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that. I don't do this often. There's a way to. Okay, so what you can do is this. So if you go to wife A, her profile, and you want to add, let's say wife B, you would go here, and then you would look for wife B's name, and then it would show up, and it will put in the name here, and you could say friend, and then say, and then it will link them without creating an additional profile for wife B. Right. Yeah, you can search your whole system for that. Yeah, so like here's test account and here's test person. So I'm on test accounts profile, but if I want to add test person, I would just type person in here and find it, and then say that they're friends. Okay. And now let's see test person there. So that would be what you would do for the wife. Yeah, you can delete her because that's a new profile that you created that probably doesn't have any trip history or anything like that. So yeah, you could delete. One other thing I just thought about that I didn't bring up is another enhancement we did was reassign trip. So if you have a trip where the lead person cancels and maybe someone else takes over for that, so if this person canceled, you can reassign the trip, and it's much like what we just did for the profile relationship. You would just search for who is going to be the new lead person, click on their name, and click reassign, and that will just move the trip over to a new profile. So that's a nice time-saving feature when that happens. You know what? I don't know. I know that's one of the bigger things that we want to have done, so I don't know how much it's going to take to get that done, but I can check on that. Email me, and I'll find out and get back to you on it. Yes, yeah. So most times the deposit due date is like 2 days after you actually do the booking. So if you were to look at like bookings by agent, usually what I will do if I'm searching by booking deposit due date is I'll just set it, 2 or 3 days in advance. Which really you could go to the end of the year on this, and it's not going to pull up because it's not like you're booking something that the deposit is 6 months in advance. So you can just set this date as far forward as you want. This date is the one that matters because it's going to show. The further back you go, the older it's going to show as far as your bookings go. but you're not going to have bookings for the future that have a deposit due date in there. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, what you could do there is you can set it forward to, say the end of the month, and then just do the status of deposited and search that way. I'm sorry, say that one more time. On a specific day. Right. Yeah. And I'm not actually sure why it goes by deposit due date. I guess that's because you can put that in before they deposit, whereas you can't put deposit date if you put a trip in there and it's not deposited yet. I think that's why it's the way it is, but I'm not 100% on that. Ideally, though, with customizable reports, you can put anything in. So you could say, I want to look at bookings that were deposited on this date. Anybody else? Perfect. Good. Yeah, so as long as you have your account set up for your actual PI or EGT or whoever account, you can import your bookings automatically, by booking to your Vacation CRM, and that will pull in flights, dates, hotels, pricing, all that stuff. Now, FunJet is a little bit different process that I showed earlier. It's right at the beginning of this webinar, which I will put on the YouTube page shortly after it's over. So if you want to watch the first 10 or 15 minutes, you can see how to do the FunJet one. Yeah, it takes probably 30 minutes to upload, but as soon as this is over, I'll stop it and I'll start the upload process. So check back later today. It should be up there. You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. If it's a question like, what's the best way to go about doing this, like the question earlier about, what would you do if there was, a group of friends going and the same booking number, I would say for questions like that, Facebook for sure, the users group page, because then you get answers from someone like, Mitch or Robert or myself, and then also just users of the system that, are agents using it every single day. And, sometimes they find better ways to do things that'll save you time, make you more efficient, things like that. If you're actually stuck on something, you can ask on the Facebook page, but an email to help@VacationCRM usually will get answered very quickly. So that's a good resource too. If you're getting started, I'm absolutely happy to do a little demo like this just for your agency, if you have multiple agents especially, to help you out as far as, how to create a booking, how to import from a supplier. I can do that. And then I also send all new users a couple user guides. One, an admin user guide to help you if you need to add more suppliers or add hotel chains, things like that, like customizing the account. And then the second one would be something you pass out to the other agents, and that's more along the lines of how to create a profile, how to link a trip to a group, things like that. So there's a lot of different resources on getting support or help, but you'll kind of figure out which one works best for you and which one is the easiest for you to do. Any other questions? Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. If you guys have any questions, definitely email me and I'll be glad to answer those. And I am also doing another webinar, just a general Q&A next week. So if you have something not related to all of this today, you're welcome to join that one and answer any questions you have. Thank you, you too.